Good morning. This is Travel Chat. This is the show where I use my super long commute to talk through the topic of the month and hopefully get to work on time. So we talk through personal development and we talk about a topic of the month now here in the Midlife Vibe Tribe group. The previous page, I just talked about whatever was on my mind when I woke up that day. But now we can try to relate it to a topic. I want to say hi to all the new members. We've had lots of new people join in the last week and yesterday. And so I just want to send a big welcome out to you guys. Thanks for joining us. I hope you put on your seatbelt and get ready for the ride of your life, because what we do here in the Midlife Vibe Tribe is really work to make our lives better. Because nobody's life is perfect, right? But most of the time we're just kind of drifting through life, doing what we think we're supposed to do to fit in with society, to please our parents, our friends, strangers. We do things to please strangers, which is weird. And to try to look impressive, even though on the inside sometimes we're just dying, right? It's just dying on the inside because we're stuck. We're stuck in a place that we're not even pleased with. We're not pleased with ourselves or the way our life is turning out or how much money we have in the bank. A lot of times we feel like I should be further along than this. You know, when I was a kid and I thought about being old or a grown-up, I didn't picture this, right? I didn't picture the rat race. I didn't picture like being in debt. I didn't picture climbing this ladder of success to nowhere, like getting promotion. You may be getting promotion after promotion after promotion, but where is it leading you to? Is it leading you to that life that you always dreamed of? Or are you just like going through, it's like there's a carrot on a stick in front of you and you're just like chasing this carrot? So this group is for people who are kind of like mature, like we're past 30, we're past 35, most of us, and we're at a point now where we're like, you know what, there's got to be more to life than this. There has to be. This is not all there is. And no matter how much money I make, my happiness is not increasing. Like my happiness is either staying the same or it's actually a little lower because I feel guilty. It's like now I feel like I should be happy. I should be happy. I have this house. I have 2 kids. I have this husband. I have this job. I have this salary. I should be happy, right? And so then the guilt creeps in on top of everything. So it's kind of interesting how that works. But what, I tell you around here is that money is just a tool. Money is not a measure of happiness or success. It's just a tool to buy you things that can make you happy or feel successful. And often those things are not what you think they are. They're not. Anyway, that's a super long intro and welcome to people who are new to this group. So every morning about 7:30 Central Time, I come on to chat for Travel Chat. And my day is so crazy. Like this is really the only time that I have a chance to talk about the personal development journey that I'm on and to bring you into it and to invite you to also talk about your personal development journey. So if you're in this group, I'm challenging you to put up a post, either video or write it out or a picture or whatever it is, however you feel comfortable. Put up a post giving us a little update on what your personal development journey has been. What got you to this point? What have you been doing in the last 5 years to move your life forward? What books have you read and enjoyed? Like what book, after high school or college, we barely read a book. Definitely not a book for pleasure. Definitely not something, that's like a productivity book. We mostly don't read those. We just kind of read textbooks and then call it a day. My niece was over. It was so funny. On Saturday, my niece was there, and her mom, Coach Brandy, was like, "Oh, you're gonna read something?" She was talking about reading, and it jumped out at me because my niece was like, "Read? It's the weekend. I don't read on the weekend." And I was like, "Oh, I remember those days, right? Like it's like reading is for school." But once you're out of school and you're, working in your life, if you don't continue to read and develop yourself, then your life will kind of stagnate. And, if you're not moving forward and getting better, it's not that you get to stay still. You're not standing still. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And that is just the honest truth of it. There's no standing still. Hey, Gary, good morning. So you have to be moving forward in your life. So reading is not just for school. And once you finish, it's good to kind of read something. So if you're in this group, we're going to help you with that, because I know how, sometimes if your life is not set up for reading, or if your life is not set up for Audible, because my life isn't currently set up for reading, but I can do Audible because I have this long commute and I can listen to books along the way for large chunks of time. So I get through a lot of books in 1 week just because I have a 2-hour-a-day commute. But if your life is not set up for either of those things, say you're a stay-at-home mom who's doing a lot at home, plus you have tiny children, then you can't read a book. And when my kids were small, they would just rip the pages out of the book I was reading. Whatever I was reading, they just come grab it and just rip the page out. So you can't read a physical book, and then maybe Audible can't keep your attention because it's hard to listen to a book when you're doing the laundry, doing dishes. Your attention just gets interrupted, and you kind of have to rewind, I missed the whole chapter. What were they talking about? So it's kind of tough. So, but what we'll help you with here in the Midlife Vibe Tribe, what I plan to start doing is creating summaries of really helpful books. And other members, I invite you to do this also. This is not like a one-ring circus here. It's not all up to me. This is our group, right? We are all here to contribute. We're all experts in our own lives. And if you've read a book that it just changed your life, if it helped you in some way, if you've written a book, now that I have Gary watching, when you write your book, feel free to give us a summary, give us a synopsis, something to say, hey, this is why it's worth your time, your investment to read this book. And for the people who are not set up to read or listen to a book, we can have some really short bullet point type of almost like a book report, but not painful, but just bullet points to say, hey, if you read this book, this is what you would get out of it. This was my takeaway from it. And these are the high yield points that I hope they help you, right? A 1-page deal. One of my goals, visions that I see is having just a 1-page synopsis, bullet points, for all the books that really, really changed my life this year, to have them available for people to just kind of have in case you're not able to read the entire book. So that's on the list. That's on my on deck list. I'm doing a STEP program, and it's all about home organization. I think I'll tell y'all the details about it in March or something like that. We'll do it in a month, some months from now, but it could be a monthly topic, and I'll show you how I set up this home organization system. And I do it at work too. It's amazing. It's transformed my life, and it is definitely worth implementing, but we'll talk about that in detail later. But anyway, so writing a book report, summary type of document is definitely on my list. So today I want to talk about, so I really go with my intuition when I come up with the topics of the day. And today I was like, what am I going to talk about? I'm not sure. But then I come onto Facebook and Brandy has posted a quote. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I'm going to talk about focus. Because as we all know, hey, Brandy, that's funny. See what I'm saying? I'm thinking about a person and they pop up. I was telling you, I was like, just focus on talking to one person, and then that person comes online. So you posted a quote that basically reminded me of what you focus on grows. What you focus on grows. When you focus on expand is another, it's like a woo-woo word for growth. We have these woo-woo buzzwords like abundance, And what you focus on expands. So focus on what you want. That's what your quote basically said. And last week we were talking about one of the activities, I think it was Thursday maybe, was to do like a laser focused vision journal entry. Like, you don't have to journal every day. Just take one day to write down all the things on, like, you know, a single page. If you got really excited and momentum really started going, you probably did the back of the page, the next page, but write down all the details of the life that you want. So what this looks like is that you take yourself out 5 years. So it's almost 2020. So at this point, we are creating the 2025 version of ourselves in our imagination, right? Our imagination is a tool that God gave us to help in co-creation. We create our lives using our imagination. What we can see in our head, we will hold in our hands. That's a paraphrase from Bob Proctor. He says, if you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hands. And I have done that so many times this year. I'm a firm believer that is true. You have to, and that's why this December topic is believe the transformation. Believe in what you're doing, because if you can see it, you know, if you can believe it and say, wow, yes, that is possible, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Your intuition is going to start prompting you to take all these little steps. You're going to have this inspired action where it's just like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but, you know, it just feels right to do this right now. And then later you look back and go, oh my gosh, that's why I felt so strong I need to do that. And it makes sense. So, so whatever you can see in your imagination, and if there's feeling and emotion attached to it, even stronger. So instead of letting things pop into your mind throughout your day, I call it the white space, you know, that time where you're just kind of standing in line at the grocery store, or you're sitting in a boring meeting, it's irrelevant to you, and you're just usually kind of doodling. Take that time to intentionally go into your imagination, walk up to the house that you live in 5 years from now. Might be the same house you live in right now, might be a different house. Walk up the sidewalk, walk up the walkway, look at the house, you know what I mean? Use the emotion, take a deep breath, take it all in. Knock on the door, ring the doorbell, because it ain't your house, girl. It ain't your house. It's still the 2025 version of your house, and you still want somebody to respect your house. So knock on the door, right? Let the future you answer the door. That's a very powerful step. When I do this visualization, the most powerful step is waiting for the future me to answer the door. And it's true, right? When you go to someone's house, the anticipation, you're going there for a visit and you're waiting for the person to answer the door. You don't know if their kid's going to answer the door. You don't know if it's them and what they're going to look like. And you're just like, wait, excited. Allowing yourself to feel that feeling in the present moment, because the more excitement and the more emotion you attach to this visualization, the more you can start to believe it. The more your brain will know that it's real and you want it to be real. So get excited, feel all the feelings. Let the future you open the door. Look at what she's wearing from head to toe. Look at her, smell her. I used to smell her. Okay, this is funny. I used to do this future me visualization, and I would be like, she smells like Chanel No. 5 or something. Like, I don't even know what Chanel No. 5 smells like, but I knew that she smelled fancy, and I did not. Like, I just smelled like deodorant or whatever, but she smelled fancy. And so every time I got like a magazine in the mail or something, which I don't get many, but you get sales papers and they had like the perfume sample, I'd always smell it and be like, nope, that's not what she smells like. Nope, that's not what she smells like. And finally I found this. I had one that arrived and it was for Estee Lauder Beautiful Belle. Not the one that's Beautiful Belle Love, but the other one, just plain Beautiful Belle. And I was like, that is what she smells like. And I just held on to that little sample and I would smell it all the time, and I do my little visualization like I'm going to meet future FRAN. I called her 24. going to see 24, going to ask her some questions. And then I just smell that thing, and that would add another layer of emotion, right? That add another layer of realness, because it was like, now I know what she smells like. I look at her clothes. Now I know what shoes she's wearing. I was in the store and I saw some shoes, very inexpensive. And I said, these are the kind of shoes that I wear in 2024. So I got those shoes. And then the other day I was out with my kids and I found Beautiful Belle in Ulta. So I got a little thing of Beautiful Belle, and so this helps me. So I wear this now every day. And so what I'm doing is, had I not gone into my imagination to construct who I am, I would still just be normal. Like, you know, I would just still be walking in my 2019 self. Good morning, Mona. But instead, because I created the future version of me, and I can see who she is and smell her and look at her house, and I know what things are going to look like in my ideal future, I can start to slowly, little by little, become this person, right? And that's the transformation that we're creating. You slowly, little by little, step by step, become the person that you want to be. So now I have her shoes on and I'm wearing her perfume. And that means a lot to me, because those are things that I can control. I can't control everything. You know, I'm not God. I can't make everything happen, but God is within me. And what he wants, I believe, what he wants me to do is to control what I can control. Do the things that I can do to push my life in a direction that's going to help to serve him by serving people, whatever it is that you're called to do. You can do that once you create the person you're supposed to be. So that's the future life visualization. So give that a shot. So Brandy the quote said, what you focus on grows, so focus on what you want. So the other point I wanted to make about this before I jump off of here is that if you don't focus on things you don't want. Abraham Hicks says, she always tells people, don't give any attention, don't give any energy to that. Don't give any attention to that. I am really bad at this, or good at this. I don't know, good in a bad way at this, because if something bad is happening, or if something, is annoying you, if you're talking about it all the time, if you're recreating the event, because remember, the past is in your imagination. Our past is gone. It's over. The only thing we have is our perception of the past. So if you're talking about something bad that happened to you yesterday in the past, which is gone, you're actually creating it now in the present. If you're talking about, I'm going to say that again. If you're talking about something that's happened in the past, and the past is over, it's gone, and you're kind of like, girl, you won't believe what happened to me yesterday. And this is me, right? Oh, work was this, and it was so, and I was really stressed out, and blah, blah, blah. Well, now you've just taken this past issue that's totally gone, and you brought it into your present, and now it's still active in your vibration. It's still part of your life. It's still part of your present. And the attention that you're giving it and the focus that you're giving it, because I tend to tell my stories dramatically. And I'm telling this story dramatically and with emotion, and I'm talking about this thing I do not want to happen anymore. And what did I just say? Emotion is the connection that tells, the universe, hey, I want more of this. So I'm using emotion to get the good things into my life, but then here I am contradicting that by using emotion to talk about something I don't want to happen in my life. And that's not cool. So I really have to work on that too. But it's don't focus on something you don't want. And I was really good at this for about a month where when if something was happening, I just wouldn't talk about it. I would just say yeah, I'm just not feeling right, or something's going on, but I'm working on it, and kind of just spin it, but not go into detail and be and then he said, and then she said, and then we did this, and blah, blah, blah. Because once you do all that, you're just bringing that attention and bringing that energy into something you do not want. And guess what happens? The same situation happens over and over and over again. You wonder, why do I always have drama in my life? Why is there always got to be drama when I'm dealing with you? And it's because you keep putting energy to the drama. And your brain is going, I guess she likes drama. Let me bring her more of the same. right? So you got to cut that cycle off, and it comes from living mindfully. So for me, it comes from, as I start to tell the story, I'm just like, no, like, don't, like, and I even get a little tingle, like I get a little spidey senses, like, no, do you really want this to happen more? Like, stop, just cut it off right now. And it's hard, right? Because, you want to, hey, Tracy, good morning. You want to like be like all like entertaining or whatever. And then it's just like, don't tell that story. Because if you tell that story about what happened last week, it's going to happen this week. And we don't want to go there. So it's crazy. But focus on, like the Bible says, Paul says, talk about the things that are good, the things that edify, the things that will bring you up. You can talk about those dramatically all you want. Be the bearer of good news all the time. You can talk about all the good stuff, but don't dramatically talk about the bad stuff. Because what you focus on, you just get more of. That's just a law of the universe. If you don't believe me, you can test it out. Feel free. Or you can just look back at your life, at what you've gotten in the past, and say, you know what, I did. Okay, I got it. Yep, don't want that anymore. I see where I kept circling the same drain over and over again. Okay, so that is the challenge. So the challenge for today is similar to the laser focus challenge of last week, only this time I want you to, and we're going to do this probably all week because it's not just a one-time thing. Like the first time you do it is super powerful, but I want you to go there in your imagination. Go to 2025, walk up to the door of your house, meet your future self, let her invite you in for coffee, tea, whatever it is, dinner, whatever. Go in there, see who's in there, meet your future husband, see your kids, and how old your kids are at that time. That's what I did. So it was 5 years, so my kids were like 8 years old, and they were talking all about school and crushes, and it was just so cool. It's all my imagination, but it felt really real. Go there and just kind of like soak yourself in your future life. And this will serve you tremendously, because anytime you feel anxious or scared or apprehensive, you can always go back and ask her questions. If you have the benefit, you know how we ask older people, we listen to older people's wisdom. What if you have the benefit of listening to your older self? Your older self's wisdom. It's not like you're listening to somebody else's experience. You're going to say, hey, how do I deal with this problem? Right? Like, what's the best way to deal with this problem? And because we tend to kind of say, well, hindsight is 20/20. If I had known that, I would have done this. You can do that with yourself. You can just ask your future self, this is the situation I'm in. What should I do? And then just let it go. Ask that question, let it go. You'll be in the shower or something like that. You'll be driving, you'll be in the shower, something where your brain is occupied, or you'll wake up in the middle of the night and have the answer. And it's like, you know what? This is it. And it'll be so clear and so concise. You don't believe me? Test it out. I'm not making this up. I've heard this, I've tried it for myself, and it's amazing. I asked myself 2 questions yesterday. I don't even remember what the questions were, because I know that I just ask and I walk away. You know what I mean? Like, you just ask the question and you leave it at that. And you relax into the knowing that the answer is going to come to you. And when the answer comes to me, I'll remember, oh yeah, I did ask this question of myself. All of the answers are inside of you. That's it. You don't have to ask a million people. You don't have to put a question up on Facebook. All the answers are inside of you. And whatever it is that you're struggling with or wondering about, you know the answer. You know the answer. Sometimes we don't want to face the answer. Sometimes it's a tough pill to swallow, but we do know the answers. Okay, so I hope that you guys watched Coach Brandy and me on Saturday when we did our goal setting session. It was a lot of fun. If not, go back and watch it. I pinned it to the announcements for the December announcement, and more fun stuff is to come. So I will talk to you later. Bye.